What's up, Cyberspace Cadets? It's IRATE Prostate. What's up, Cyberspace Cadets? It's IRATE Prostate. I had to do that again because I was muted and you wouldn't be able to see me talking when I talk. So it's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time for a big fat bowl of ice cream. You know, the idea of ice cream interviews is an ingenious branding idea that goes along with, of course, the cream stream and my whipped cream spontaneous streams that I need to do more often. But to me, you know, ice cream's considered a treat to most people, and to me, a treat is having a conversation with a person that I find fascinating or really like, and getting to know a person better is a treat to me, and so that's where this comes from. And today is no different than any other day. I've got another fascinating person lined up for you guys. My sister from another mister, as I say. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Outlaw Beardog has joined us. Say,
hey,
what's up, sister? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm legit nervous about this. I don't know why.
It's cool, man. Just inhale and exhale. We'll do some guided imagery. Close your eyes.
Oh my God, dude.
We'll go ahead and get into the dog and cat room here. This is my favorite room because it's a little psychedelic and can trigger a flashback occasionally if I'm doing it right. So yeah, the way I open this thing out is I open it up with what I call icebreaker kind of questions, and then we'll kind of get deeper and deeper into your life, you know, and you know, we always start it with the YouTube. You know, it's like, what's your main reason for coming to YouTube? You know, what made you say, okay, man, I can do this shit, you know, and jump in the fray?
what made me come into YouTube, I guess, Conscious Caracal. I watched a couple of his videos and I was like, damn, this dude is really smart. And I saw his Twitter and I messaged him like, hey, blah blah blah, this that, and the other thing. I was on a couple of his streams, and then Ogre got a hold of me and was like, hey, you know, Caracal, he's a cool dude, come on my stream. And then I guess I kind of got, you know, I got friends, I got internet friends, and the Mad Libertarian, his channel, him and I hooked up, and I met all these cool ass people.
Yeah, well, speaking of people, let's say hi to the chat before we get rocking and rolling. Stella Harrison, sorry, Stella Harrison. I am Asian for 5 seconds. Stella Harrison, hey, how you doing? Vladimir Dragunov, welcome aboard the Starship Idiot Prize. Anti-hero, man, I don't know why in the fuck I didn't have you guys wrenched, but you are now, and especially you, Beardog. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But we got you hooked up now. So Adamantine, what's up, brother? Mad Dodge. Hang tight, y'all. We're going to have some fun. All right? So, yeah, all right, Beardog, let's roll. Tell me about that avatar and that name. Where did Beardog come from? Even Wolfshot. Some people may know you as Wolfshot from the days gone by.
Yeah, when I first started, it was Wolfshot. I don't know where I got it from. Honestly, I just was just like, oh, this sounds good, I guess. It was a big black wolf avatar with a hat on, and then I changed it to Beardog because bear dogs are like, in Japan, Akita Inus, those big fucking burly husky looking dogs.
Yeah, Akitas, yeah, they're beautiful.
Historically, were bear dogs. They were legit bred to kill bear.
Oh wow.
And I have shot a couple bear in my time. I'm an avid hunter. So I was just like, well, fuck it, Beardog. It's better than Outlaw Akita or something like that. I mean,
right?
I just thought Beardog was a cool name.
What about the Outlaw part?
Outlaw because there's a YouTuber named Outlaw Dipper, and he's a fucking white trash redneck I like to watch a lot. And he dips a lot of tobacco, and he fixes up cars. He makes pimp-ass cars. He makes really good vids. I suggest y'all check him out. But that's really where that came from.
Well,
kind of a nod.
So, yeah, and I lost my train of thought here. Hold on. Yeah. So, what about the picture? Like, all right, the one that I've got for the promo. Yeah. Tell me about that art, because it's one of my favorites actually of all the people that I've seen.
Dude, she is a kick-ass killer artist. Her name is Pantera or something like that. I can't fucking remember. She's got like 12 names on Twitter. But
don't we all?
And she draws furry art and stuff, and she was opening for icons, and I'm like, dude, let me grab one of them motherfuckers. And that is the Beardog right there, like,
indeed,
with the Copenhagen hat and everything.
Exactly. Every time you see, when I see that to me that encompasses who I think you are. Inside.
Oh, yeah.
You've got that grin, but you're ready to rip flesh if you need to. So.
Oh yeah, that's why my streams are called Fangs to Flesh.
Fangs to Flesh, exactly. We're trying to be consistent with our branding here. So, so all right. I love asking this question because I get a different answer every time because people are different, of course. But is there a food from your childhood that you hated? I mean, you just couldn't fucking stand it, couldn't eat it, and you love it. You love it now.
Oh fuck, crabs.
Okay. Talk about that.
Last night, as a matter of fact, my dad and I, we boiled a bushel of crabs and had the Land O'Lakes butter and the Old Bay, and we were just tearing into them motherfuckers. But when I was a kid, every weekend my dad would have a crawfish boil. And it was crawfish, crabs, corn, potatoes, carrot, everything under the sun, Cajun.
Do they do that low country boil where you're at?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, they do.
That's a thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That is the best way. But, I didn't really much care for it when I was a kid. But now I am all over some crabs, crawdads. Suck the head, man. Suck the head.
Well, who would you say was the most influential person in your childhood?
My father. Definitely my father.
Right. Tell me about your birth situation. Do you have any brothers or sisters? Are your parents together? What does that look like?
My mom and dad have been together for about 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 older sisters. One of the eldest passed away about 2-3 years ago. My other 2 sisters, the second eldest, she's cool as shit. She's an esthetician. She smokes weed. She took me to my first fucking rock concert. Like, she was the best. And then
to get you stoned and bleach your butthole at the same time, right?
Oh no, dude.
This might be a dangerous idea here.
Oh no, man. She's a cool girl,
Yeah.
but then the last oldest, I guess, she's a Jehovah's Witness, so she's fucking Looney Tunes.
Right. Were you raised in the church? In that church?
Hell no, we weren't raised anything.
Right.
She decided to do that all on her own.
What's the age differences, if you don't mind me asking?
The eldest was 35. Next 33. The next is 32. And I'm 31. So.
Right. And no boys, all girls.
All girls. My dad couldn't put the stem on the apple, so they say.
And, I understand. There's more of those X sperms than there are Y sperms. I mean, you know, it's just mathematically.
I guess I am the closest thing to a son he ever got. I mean, I love pussy and I love cars, so I'm kind of there. Kind of there.
I feel you. It makes a lot of sense to me.
No, my old man was a grade A pussy hound, let me tell you what, and I got that straight out from him.
Right. So as a kid, or even now, to this point in time, you know, Christmas is a special time of year for you know, most people, whether it be positive or negative. Is there like a Christmas special that you like have to check it out every year?
Oh yeah, we all got to sit around in the living room and put on Christmas Vacation. Oh yeah, that is our movie. That is our family tradition that we got to do for Christmas.
That's nice.
I love that fucking movie. And I got my mom all the ornaments from Christmas Vacation. They go on the tree. And we've got the Wally World mugs and shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of our tradition.
That's sweet. What about at Christmas? Do you have a favorite Christmas carol?
Carol of the Bells.
Oh wow.
I love that one. That one is just so badass. And like my wife, she was in madrigals when she was in high school. And around Christmas time, they would do their Christmas concerts, and that bitch can fucking go through that song like nobody's business. I love it. It's great.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. So if you could go back in time and talk to Little Bear Dog at the age of 8, what would you tell Little Bear Dog?
I would tell Little Bear Dog to get the fuck over yourself. Don't come out in middle school and fuck as many bitches as you absolutely can.
Don't come out in middle school.
Don't come out in middle school. No, do not tell your best friend who you thought was your best friend that you're gay. And don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. But fuck as many bitches as possible.
So, okay. All right, so let's talk about that. So what happened? You had a friend and you disclosed a very personal information of this person.
Yeah, I was in 7th grade, I think it was. And I was talking to my friend, and I'm like, yeah, I like girls. I think I like girls. And I thought I could trust her. And then the next day when I came to school, you know in those movies where you see all the kids just staring at this one kid leering and like sneering and all the other bullshit? Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what happened. And that's when the ass beatings began. Like, fucking middle school and high school were just hell. for me.
Right? Talk about that.
I mean, every other day getting my ass kicked by guys, girls. It didn't matter. Getting, harassed, fucking getting called a dyke all the time, getting shoved into lockers, punched in the face. I got suspended a lot because, hey man, you gonna swing on me, I'm gonna fight. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'll hit a woman, I'll hit a man, I don't care.
That's what I love about you is, it's you come at people, you come at life like full force is what I get from you,
Well, I mean, I don't understand this whole, thing where if you hit a man, the man can't hit you back. But when I was, like I said, in high school and middle school, they didn't give a fuck, so I didn't give a fuck. I'm gonna hit you, I'm gonna defend myself and hit you back. Not to say that I didn't start a few fights, I also finished a lot of them. But you do what you gotta do.
That's right. Well, and we'll probably come back to and visit the subject matter for a second. I want to talk about, was there a moment where you knew that you weren't a child anymore? Just aside from the sexuality thing?
Oh, that is a very, very, very big question. I think when I asked Mrs. Beardog to marry me.
Oh, wow.
I think that's when I was like, yeah, you're an adult now. Because I never wanted to be with someone so much and, like, get out on my own and start a life. And this was in high school.
Right. So, all right, so you guys have known each other since high school?
Yeah, I was 17, she was 16.
Oh, wow. So, how did y'all meet?
Oh god, this is gonna be so bad. So, my ex-girlfriend went to the same school with my wife. They were friends, and then they hooked up. And then they didn't break up, but ex-girlfriend lost interest in my wife. And then I went up to the school one day just to hang out or help with some fucking production they were doing. And I saw my wife, Mrs. Beardog, across the room. And you know that scene in West Side Story where he's in the gym and he's looking at her and she's looking at him and everything slows down and it's just them? Right. That's it.
Time stands still?
Oh yeah, that was fucking it. Like, that's how and that was the coolest day of my life, I gotta say.
So, all right, since we're there, we'll just go ahead and talk about this. So, growing up, when did you first realize that you were different from your sisters, right?
I was like different, as in like in every they were all kind of like cheerleader, like preppy type, and I was more of a tomboy. I was always a tomboy. Right. I always wanted to be out in the garage with my dad working on cars and stuff. I always, ran with the boys at school, would play rough and tumble all the time, shit like that. I came out to my mom when I was 7. I was like, Mom, I think I like girls. And she's just like, I know. Go out and play.
That reaction, what do you think? What do you think about that? Do you think that was an appropriate reaction?
I mean, both of my parents, thank God, were very supportive of me. Even before I came out, dressing like a boy and all that stuff, they were very supportive of me then. And when I came out, when I had girlfriends, when I brought girls home, they were always very supportive.
Good.
Which is weird because my dad's like a staunch, like super Republican, super duper conservative dude.
But it sounds like you and your dad have a special bond.
Yeah, we do. Like even now, it's. Right. I mean, we run a store together, so I mean, like that bond has never broke. Thank God.
That's awesome, because your parents are weird, especially when it comes to this stuff. What do you think about parenting and raising a child, from an early age as gay? Like you know what we're seeing with Desmond and that kind of shit, man. What do you think?
My mom was always worried about me because she, I dressed like a boy, had my hair cut short. She was always worried that I would get hurt. I mean, needless to say, I got into fights and stuff, but she always thought that I would end up like Matthew Shepard one day.
Right.
She was always scared of that. My dad, never. He was like, she's a fighter. She's not this. That's not going to happen to her.
Right. Right.
So, but kids these days, man, I think we were talking about this last night on Doc's stream about how kids these days use being gay as social currency. Like you get more out of being gay than not, or something to that effect.
Right. There's like a badge of honor.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, I think it's great that more people are accepting of gay people, but don't do it just because you want something out of it, because a lot of people have suffered before you to not have that kind of, I don't want to say privilege, but it sure as shit sounds like privilege to me. I don't know.
Well, here's it's like is it your nature or is this just a fucking affectation, right?
It's like, yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Right, and it's I see exactly what you're saying, because it's like the people that are actually that actually live a life like that. They're not pretending. They're not putting out a different shirt that day. That's who they are.
It's trendy. It feels like it's trendy now.
Right, and the trans thing too.
I absolutely agree with you on that. No, the trans thing is a completely different ball of wax for me on that. Like, I thought, I haven't said this to many people, but, fuck it. I did think that I was trans, and I did get I started the process of transitioning in Virginia. To transition, you have to live as a man or a woman or whatever for a year before you can get hormone therapy. Right. So I did live as a man for a year, and at the end of that year, I'm like, this isn't me.
Right.
This isn't who I am. I'm a woman, and I'm, in my opinion, women who are transitioning to men, we are losing a lot of our warrior women in LGBT culture, like butch lesbians.
Right.
Now all they want to do is become men. And I don't know why. It's weird. But, whatever. People live their lives how they want to live it, right? But the whole trans thing, especially now, seems so trendy. Like, everyone is trans!
Yeah, and then...
Or my pronouns. My pronouns!
Oh, God.
Dude, when I try to avoid someone on Twitter, how I know why to avoid them is if they put their fucking pronouns in the bio.
And my pronouns are Z and Zer.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, no!
No!
Like one time I was arguing with some fucking twat, and I was like, yeah, I'm an attack Apache helicopter. That's what I identify as. So, or a red swing line stapler.
I like that better, Have you seen my stapler?
Can I see my stapler? I'm gonna burn the whole building down. Burn it down.
They want me to stay here. My check coming. I love that fucking movie. That's some shit, isn't it?
Oh, Office Space is the shit, man.
Oh yeah, tell me. All right, so your marriage is it legal in the eyes of the state and everything?
Yeah, gay marriage is legal everywhere now.
Is it?
Virginia was one of the first states to get it. But before it was legal here in Virginia, my wife and I went to Maryland to get married. So.
Oh, wow. So how long you guys been married?
Oh, fuck. 2013. So it'll be 6 years in October.
Congratulations.
But we've been together for 14 years.
Yeah. And the fact that your parents are still together after 30 years of marriage is there's statistics that people whose parents stay together have a tendency to stay in committed monogamous relationships. Committed.
Yeah, I mean, my parents, they broke up for a while, and even, you know, my mom got a new house and shit, and they lived separate for a couple years, but then they realized that they were meant for each other and got back together, so.
Well, it's like my grandma on my mother's side always said, you know, there's always a fool for a fool. And, you know, if you find your fool, then, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty much
there's
it.
people that go through life that never get, you know, never feel, you know, the kind of love that, you know, you feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's sad. So what's your favorite thing about being married?
I get sex on tap.
Okay, what's your, all right, keep going.
I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. Honestly, I feel love every day, at like every moment of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the best feeling ever. And she worries about me, I worry about her, and you know, we take care of each other. But there's not to say that we haven't had our issues. I mean, every relationship takes work.
Right.
That's one thing I will say about relationships. You have to work it every fucking day to make that shit work.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because that is so true. It's like you can't put a marriage on autopilot and expect it to stay healthy. You have to communicate. You know, you have to confront problems. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know,
communication is key, man.
Yeah, because it's not all about, you know, being together and being in love. It's also like a business, and you know, it's that kind of stuff can get real tedious and shit, man. You know, most people get divorces over money. You know.
Yeah, I mean that is the biggest thing we, you know, argue about. You know, that's another thing I will suggest. Making rules about arguing with one another. Like, we have rules like you can't call each other names, like separate corners when you get too heated, etc., etc. We made up those rules fucking like 10 years ago.
Yeah, man.
And it's really helped alleviate some of that heat when we argue.
You know, before I married Uzi, I was the best advice I got was from her grandmother, and she said, never go to bed mad at the other person. And so Uzi and I, we come up with this thing we call reboot, right? Where we get to reboot the whole day, right? You have one of those days where you can tell this, all right, this is going to end up fucked up, right? And we just call a timeout and say, okay, let's reboot and start over. And,
yeah, I absolutely agree with that sentiment about not going to bed mad. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Hash it out.
I mean, I've done it once or twice, and I felt worse for it the next day, you know?
What's your least favorite thing about being married?
Taxes.
That's my answer too, I swear to God.
Taxes. It's really a pain in the ass, man. Especially when you own property together.
Indeed. Well, yeah, of course. Let's see. Okay. Let's kind of shift gears here. Tell me about the first time you got fucked up.
Fucked up like get my ass handed to me, or fucked up like I smoked a whole bunch of weed and didn't know where I was?
Like, fucked up chemically. I'll say that.
Oh, I was 13, and one of my friends, he was a senior in high school, and he had an old Ford Ranger, and we went back there and we smoked some pot, did some shrooms, and dropped some acid.
Oh God!
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Shit. And I was high for the next 2 days, and I woke up in my closet with all my clothes off, not knowing what the fuck was going on.
Holy shit.
And my mom opens the closet door, and she's like, what the fuck, are you sick? I'm like, I have no idea.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but yeah.
Nah, dude, it was a trip. It was a fucking trip.
So, looking back on it, do you see it as a positive or negative thing?
I look at it as a positive because that's where I discovered marijuana.
Right.
And I love me some marijuana.
Well, I think, It's interesting because marijuana today is a lot different than it was back in the day when everybody's going to concerts and smoking, to get two joints to get a buzz. And
I quit smoking weed for a while, like 8 years or something, and then I started back up again like last year, 2 years ago, and I'm like, hey, can I get a dime bag or something like that. I said something like that. And they're like, what gram is that? I'm like, what the fuck? I don't have a scale. What are you talking about? And then they're talking about strains and shit. And I'm like, I have no idea. I want some weed to fuck me up.
Dude, some of them people really get into to it on an esoteric level, man. It's like the deep shit. It's like, okay, all right.
But I will say dabs, that when I first had a dab, that was one hell of an experience.
Yeah, that's like raw resin.
Oh my god, like this dude pulled out this big ass, it looks like a bong, right?
Right.
Big ass thing, and he pulls out a blowtorch. I'm like, what the fuck is that for? And he's like, you'll see. So he fucking torches the end and sticks the little, a bit of dab in there, the resin. And I hit it, and I'm coughing for half an hour. And then I fall over, and I'm like, this shit is the best. What is that?
Holy shit.
Who you fighting? Oh, my God. That was great.
Yeah, it's like super hash.
Oh, God.
From what I could gather, I have never done that, so I can't speak from experience.
I highly recommend doing it at least once.
So, all right. So, high school. Tell me, did you finish high school and everything?
Yeah, I graduated.
All right. Do you plan on going back to your 20-year reunion? Or your 10-year?
No. Fuck that shit. I hope that place fucking burns down with the people in it.
I feel
no, absolutely not.
Oh, Lord. Did you have any big embarrassments? I guess that what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that was pretty much that. I mean, it was. I guess it was an embarrassment.
Yeah, I know. I think the way you were shamed over it. You know what I'm saying? The way that came at your ass. It was like fucked up.
Yeah, I will say that's pretty much the biggest thing. Biggest embarrassment that happened to me in school was that. Yeah.
Let's see. So, what has been your most painful moment to date?
When I got shot.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about that. If you're into it.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine.
Go ahead and tell the story. What was the circumstances and what happened? Because I don't think a lot of people know exactly what happened.
Yeah. So my dad and I had a car lot in a bad part of town. This was the first one. And I conceal carry. I have a revolver as my sidearm. And I went to work early in the morning, was setting stuff up. I went to the bathroom, was in the bathroom just chilling on my phone, doing my business. And I hear the door open, and I think it's my dad. And I'm like, didn't I lock that thing? And then suddenly the fucking bathroom door flies open. This man of color, this black dude, pulls out a 9 and pops me right in the chest.
Holy shit.
I fall over and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Because I thought I got tased at first, honestly.
Right.
And I roll over and pull up my pants and I touch my chest and I'm like, fuck, this is blood. And my shirt was soaked through. And I rolled over and grabbed my phone and I pushed the green button to the last person I called, which was my mom. And I'm like, Mom, I've been shot.
Holy shit.
You gotta help me. And she starts screaming. I'll never forget that scream.
Right.
And I hang up with her. The cops come. They come in. They drag me out of the bathroom. They throw me up on the gurney. And then I pass out and I don't remember shit. I was in a coma for 4 days. I died on the table twice. They had to use internal paddles.
Right. And
then they put me in an induced coma. They snowed me with Ativan, or so it said on the medical record. And I woke up with this breathing tube, like this thing in my throat, and that was like the worst shit.
Yeah, because you feel like you're choking to death, man.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's when I came out of my heart surgery on ICU. It's the same thing. And I'm going, holy, and I couldn't move, you know. They had me kind of strapped down and shit. Well, because I was going to pull that shit out, right? So, yeah, it's a horrible feeling. You feel like you're choking to death. They just say, breathe, man, breathe. It's like, fuck you.
Oh, no, dude, I fucking sat right the fuck up and just started yanking that shit out of my throat. And all the bells and whistles and fucking alarms were going off, and my wife's sitting there.
This is horrible.
Oh yeah, my wife is sitting there like, what the fuck? And they were like, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't pull it out. And I fucking pulled as hard as I could, and I couldn't get it out. And they just pushed me back down and sedated me. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had 30 staples from my sternum to my stomach, my groin. And when I got out of the hospital the first time, I went home and I sat down and the stitches popped open.
Oh, bubble. Oh, shit.
Like where my belly button is.
You're right.
So it opened up a 9-inch deep hole in my stomach. It went all the way down to the fascia, which is your stomach lining, or your it's the thing that encases your intestines and shit.
Right. Yeah.
And it was 9 inches deep. Yeah. 9 inches deep, 3 inches wide. Went to the emergency room, and I was in the hospital again for another 3 weeks until Thanksgiving. Actually, I don't have a fucking spleen. My sternum is broken still. I've got lacerations on my liver. My pancreas was leaking, so I had to get a drain put in from my. They took me to the CT room. They rolled me over. They found where it was leaking, and they fucking put a drain from my chest all the way out. So I felt it was worse than the gunshot. I felt them push through my chest wall, and that was excruciating. Like, I was screaming.
Right.
It hurt so fucking bad because you're awake when they're doing this.
Right.
It's not like they put you to sleep. And I'm crying, like I am legit crying, and like about to break this lady's hand, whose hand I'm holding. And so I had a drain attached to me for about a month and a half, 2 months, when I went home the second time.
Right.
And so every day, thank God my wife's a fucking ER nurse. Well, she's a vet ER nurse, if that makes any sense. But she would clean it. Yeah. I am a dog.
In a good way.
Yeah, so she would have to clean out it's called a dehiss of a wound. It's called a dehiss.
Right.
When the staples explode, essentially, and all the shit comes out. So she had to clean that. She had to clean the drain. She had to do she had to pack it for about a month, 2 months afterwards to make the hole close up, because they couldn't re-staple it because of how it kind of broke open. Man. So
sounded like it was touch and go for a while there, you know?
Yeah, I believe when I died, if I remember Goldfields, like I'll never forget. I don't know if it was a dream or what it was, but there were golden fields and it was cold, but it was that nice temperature and everything looked so clear.
Oh, and wow. Like Gladiator?
Yeah, kind of like Gladiator, kind of like...
Yeah.
If you ever played Red Dead Redemption 2, this is lame, but when the main character has his kind of fever dreams, he dreams about being in gold fields as a buck.
Oh, wow.
And everything is slow and peaceful, and that's pretty much how it felt. And I'll never forget that. And, a lot of shit changed for me after going through all of that. Like, my perspective on a lot of shit has changed.
Indeed. Sir Adamantine's got a great question. Did they catch the shooter?
No.
So it's still out there at large to this day.
Yeah, and they confiscated my revolver.
Oh, wow.
Even though I didn't, like, I fired at, like, I pulled it out, and I hit the trigger, and it shot the floor, because my muscles were kind of locking up, like, oh my god!
Yeah, right.
So it hit the floor, and I, you know, of course I would have gunpowder residue on my hands, and the gun was on the floor, and they're like, we have to take your gun and do ballistics. I'm like, what the fuck? I shot the floor! It's not like I shot the asshole who shot me first. And I haven't gotten my gun back, and it's a pain in the ass. But no, he was never caught. We haven't gotten any justice for that.
I'm going to take a second and say hi to some of the people that have come in since we've begun. Stan Ulch, hey man. Cabby, what's up, dude? You know what I'm saying? Prospero, always a pleasure and an honor. Sir Adamantine, it's good to have y'all hanging out with us. And
hell yeah, it is, guys, man. And yes, chicks do dig scars, and I have a hell of a fucking scar, dude.
Indeed.
Like it's super raised up, and the surgeon was so funny. He's like, you know, I can fix that, and I'm like, how about you don't? Chicks love scars.
That's right. It feels kind of neat when they lick it.
I haven't had that. I haven't. I guess when Mrs. Beardog comes home, I'll ask her, you know.
That's right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, let's see. We talked about the first time you got fucked up. So, all right. What's your prognosis on this gunshot thing?
They're concerned about the levels of my liver because they've been kind of fucked up ever since I've gotten out.
Right.
Because there were two major lacerations, but the liver is a regenerating organ, thank God. So they didn't want to like stitch it or anything or whatever. That's pretty much all I have to really worry about. I've got to no fatty foods, lean meat, avoid, you know, alcohol and all that. I mean, I like me a good beer though. That's my biggest problem. That's really the prognosis, like physically, but mentally, it's going to be a long road for me.
Right. You have good days and bad days, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So do you have like a support system? Do you think that's adequate enough to help you get through this?
I mean, I've got a therapist. I've got a psychiatrist. I've got my wife and my mom and my dad and my sisters.
Sounds like a hell of a support system.
Yeah, I mean, they can be supportive. They can, they help whenever they can. I mean, my wife, obviously, she's there for me like 24/7.
That's right.
Like, she didn't leave the hospital either of those times I was in at all. Like, she called her job and was like, I don't give a fuck if you fire me. I'm going to be here.
I know it.
And she, in those hospitals, they have those shitty chairs, and that's what she slept in every night, is one of those shitty chairs. And,
well, that's what
it's just good days and bad days, man.
I know. Well, let's see. All right, so we're kind of getting to the like questions. What about? Do you have a favorite book?
Oh, that is a hard question. I like a lot of books. My favorite book. Where the Red Fern Grows.
Oh wow.
Yeah, honestly, like I read that book in 4th grade and it stuck with me for like ever.
There's those iconic books, that hit you at a certain time in your life, man. And I think I think everybody has some kind of personal. That's why I asked this question, because it's. What about guilty pleasures? Have you got something that you really love that you like? Hate to admit it, but it's still fucking. It's It's a guilty pleasure.
I like trash TV, like RuPaul's Drag Race. I love that show. It makes me laugh. I like watching people get into fights and altercations on YouTube because I'm a fucking loser. Those sovereign citizen videos, those are probably my favorite.
That's funny.
Because they fucking get dragged out of the car and it's just, oh my god, stop it, no please. And I'm just like, you fuck.
I don't have to tell you nothing, officer.
Yeah, I love those videos.
Crazy. I thought you were going to say something like that. What was that show where the guy was a former wrestler and he had a tow truck company somewhere up in maybe North Carolina?
Oh, Lizard Lick Towing?
Yeah, that's it, Lizard Lick Towing.
Yeah,
man.
I used to watch that shit too.
Yeah.
You know me so well.
Indeed. I swear to God, man, it's just like we're gravitating to some of the weirdest shit, you know.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of parallels between me and Bear Dog. It's just uncannily weird.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, so is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want the viewers to know? Is there anything that you want
to about me?
Yeah, or about anything? You know, is there something you want
to? Don't let people dictate to you what you should like or don't like. I say this a lot about like movies. When I did a movie review on the new Pet Sematary, and I thought it was garbage, but that's just my opinion. If you want to see it, regardless of what I say, go see it. Like, don't let some asshole on the internet tell you what to do, right?
Right.
Yeah, don't let people dictate to you what you like. If you fucking like, I don't know, if you like DC over Marvel, or Marvel over DC, or whatever the fuck, just let people like what they like without making them feel like shit about it.
Yeah, that kind of that weird disrespecting. It's I don't know. It's
like that fanboy kind of mentality. It's like, well, goddamn, Marvel's better than DC because of this, that, and the other. DC's better than Marvel. Who gives a fuck?
I remember being a nerd wasn't cool, man. I
remember that too.
You know, it was yeah. So,
or anime, like I'm into anime, right? Because I'm a weeaboo trash.
You mean and a gay
gay anime weeaboo redneck white trash.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember when liking anime was not cool at all.
Trash.
Like, you were a fucking pariah if you liked anime. Now, anime's everywhere, and you know, I'm gonna sound old, but like, you goddamn kids don't know how good you've got it. We didn't have YouTube back in the day. We had to go rent our shit from Blockbuster and pray to God it was good, or your mommy wasn't going to take you to get another movie that week.
With horrible subtitles, right?
Oh, God, yeah. But
Yeah.
I will say, that was probably one of my fondest childhood memories, is going up to, like, a video store and renting some random anime and really enjoying it.
Oh,
like,
cool.
that's how like Gunsmith Cats.
Right.
That was the first anime I ever saw. Boobies and cars and guns. That was my shit. That was the best.
And you knew that was for you.
Oh yeah, man. Like, I'm like, whatever this shit is, I want to be a part of it, you know?
Right.
You know, and my wife and I, we used to go to anime conventions and stuff and dress up and, cosplay. Right. And my favorite cosplay we ever did, I was Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, and she was Vanellope, and there's nothing like having a little kid run up to you and being like, oh my god, mommy, it's Ralph.
Oh, wow.
I felt like one of those Disney characters in Disney World where the kids are like, oh my god, it's actually the character.
Right.
It makes your heart feel good, you know? And then this one time, my wife, she dressed up like Sailor Moon, Princess Serenity or whatever. And
they all do that. Haven't you dressed as Sailor Moon yet?
Huh?
Have you not dressed as Sailor Moon yet?
Are you kidding? No. Fuck no. That's my wife's job.
I feel you. I'm messing with you.
But she dressed up like Sailor Moon, and these little girls were like, oh my god, it's Sailor Moon, she's so pretty, blah blah blah, can I have your picture? And these little, they were like 4 or 5 years old. It was the neatest shit ever.
Yeah.
And my wife, she's so good with kids, and just to see that smile on her face, that was worth the cost of admission, right there.
So you guys talking about kids?
Oh yeah, no, I don't want kids personally.
Right.
But I don't want to like rob my wife of the opportunity to be an amazing mother.
Right.
So if she wants kids, so one day we will have them.
Indeed.
But you know, whenever she wants to start, you know, talking about it or the process of it, you know, I told her that she would make a kid's life so great.
You are what we call in Alabama ruined.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're head over heels in love with somebody, and you're not coming back from it.
Oh no, yeah. Absolutely not. No, I this woman has, like, I don't know, man. She's magic. Yeah,
and like I said earlier, man, people go through life and they never have a relationship like that. So you know, you're fortunate, and it's good that you see that and recognize it. That's an awesome thing.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I've got a picture up of me on Twitter, but if you saw me in real life and then you saw her, you'd be like, "What the fuck is she doing?"
Actually, I think you showed me a picture of y'all a while back.
I'm sorry, but I mean, like, I don't even know why she likes me so much or loves me so much, man. Like, she could do so much better.
Dude, I'm the same way with Uzi Q. It's like I have no idea what the fuck she sees either.
I'm like, why are you here? Like, you could have anybody you wanted. Like, it's like you can put a turd in a fucking suit, but it's still a turd in a suit, you know?
Lipstick on a pig. So
pretty much.
So do you have what's your favorite anime series and character from it, or anime character? I wouldn't even put you in that series.
There's an anime called Ginga Nagaraboshi Gin. I'm butchering it because I'm not Japanese.
You are,
and it's.
Go ahead.
And it's from the 80s, and it's about a bunch of dogs who defend their village, per se, from a bear.
Oh, wow.
A fucking man-eating bear, and that's partly where I get
that's what I was going to say.
Bear dog from.
It sounds like that's an iconic kind of experience for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my favorite character from the show is Gin. His name's Gin. He's an Akita, and he kind of leads the charge to protect his family and protect those he loves, etc.
Right. It's interesting because Brian and I have been trying to look at this new anime that's out on Netflix and shit, and I mean, my God, none of it is any good. And so what I've been doing is I'm going back in time. Just the stuff I didn't see, I haven't seen all Cowboy Bebop or any of that shit, so I'm going that way.
Oh no, I absolutely I love doing that.
So all right, back to you. All right, what about do you like Game of Thrones? Next week as the final season begins.
I like the wolves.
Oh
that was cool. That was cool. Yeah. That's about all I know of Game of Thrones.
Oh, cool. So
I mean, I've watched like 2 or 3 episodes, didn't really get into it. I understand why a lot of people are into it. I hear the books are phenomenal. I haven't read them. So no, I haven't. I'm not excited. I'm excited for people who are excited about it. Cool.
That's cool. Well, I usually what I ask is who their favorite Game of Thrones character is. So
Jon Snow.
Okay, well, there you go. There you go.
Or who's his sister? His sister.
Arya.
Yeah, that one.
With Nymeria,
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, Nymeria is the wolf pack. So, and that's gonna play anyway into this season. So, what's your all right? We're kind of getting towards the end here, and all right, I've got a question. What's your favorite thing about K-pop?
What is my favorite thing about K-pop? The music. Right. Yeah, a lot of the music is really the lyrics when they're translated, they're really positive, and not like super sexually explicit. Like some K-pop, I'm sure is like our pop, like. But most of it, what I've listened to is pretty positive. Love yourself, you know. Love others, do cool shit, you know. Be a badass without hurting people, etc., etc.
Cool. Yeah, and good pop music is uplifting, you know, and has that kind of that feeling to it, I think. And what's your lead? Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it isn't like sexualized. I mean, fuck. These dudes and these chicks, they look like perfect. Their skin is out. They're gorgeous people, usually. And I mean, I'm not saying they're sexualized, but most of the music is pretty positive, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, Korean boy bands is what we're talking about. So what's your least favorite thing about K-pop?
The fans. But that's with any hardcore fandom. I hate the fans.
Yeah. Well, what is it about the fans that gets you?
I've watched a couple concerts. My favorite K-pop band is BTS. They're like the biggest thing on the planet right now, apparently. And their fans like to like throw shit on stage at them, and like when they're in the airport, they'll like attack them essentially. And yeah. I'm like, y'all need to calm the fuck down. They're people too. I mean, and that's with any celebrity. It's like, they're people. You need to leave them alone and let them have their life. You know?
Yeah, of course, because, you know, but, you know, I'm sure they're young and they kind of dig it, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of the Beatles treatment, you know?
Oh, yeah, like, you've got, like, thousands of girls, like, grabbing at your dick. Yeah. I mean, that's like a treasure trove of hell, yeah.
And they love you so much that they're crying, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's gotta be one hell of a fucking feeling, you know?
Again, that phrase comes in mind, being ruined. Well,
oh, yeah.
Well, shit, Bear Dog, before we part, do you have a show or stream coming up that you want everybody to check out?
No. I stream occasionally. When I see a new movie, I usually review it. Like, I'm going to see Shazam probably Monday or Tuesday, and I'll give a review on that. But most of the time, it's just shooting the shit, hanging out. I don't do live streams for profit or anything like that, or for attention or popularity, any of that bullshit. I just do it because I'm bored and I want to do something. I want to hang out with my friends, my internet friends.
That's right. That's right. That sounds like, actually, to be honest, I have a collection of these. Back in the 70s, and I'll be brief with this shit, they put these oversized comic books out, and what they did was they had repackaged the old, what were the Captain Marvel, but they were calling them Shazam at this point because of DC and all that shit, right?
Yeah, the DC Marvel crossover. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it was the old stuff from the 30s that this guy named C.C. Beck was the original mind and art behind it. And it's some of the great, I mean, that art is fucking tits money.
Yeah.
To use your phrase.
Oh, yeah, tits money.
That's right, buddy. That's right. Well, shit. All right, people. We got Outlaw Beardog's information is in the description. Does anybody? All right, let's open it up to the chat. Does anybody have anything they want to ask Beardog before we split? And we'll give it a little bit of time because it usually, you know, takes about 12 seconds to get to them, and then 12 seconds to get back to us, and then, you know, so it's
no problem.
We're in a delay lag.
Oh,
that's what it's called. That's right. But this has been an outstanding experience for me. I love doing this stuff and hanging out with people that I love talking to. Outlaw Beardog. I will be streaming later tonight. Just saying.
Oh no, I'll be there, Addie. Don't worry. With Bathtub Boy.
That's funny.
I gotta pick up some beers first, though.
Hey. So, shit, man, I'm at the end of my questions, and we just hit the top of the hour. So I told you it'd go by fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really appreciate you interviewing me, and everyone out there watching, you know, thanks. And thanks for all the well wishes, really. Like, it means a lot.
Yeah, well, you know, you're, I don't know. I just, I think your uniqueness is just, needs to be recorded. And, you know, this is kind of like, you know, creating afterlife. I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of people say I'm unique or, you know, different or, you know, I'm just trying to be, you know, who I am.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as absolutely authentic as I absolutely can be. So, like, people call me strange or, like, well, you're not supposed to think this way because you're this or that or the other thing. It's like, nah, bitch, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah, and I've been doing this long enough where you know, most of the people that I interview are people. There's been a couple of, you know, quote characters that are being portrayed by people. But I don't know. I gravitate to people who are characters rather than people who play characters.
Absolutely. You know, I am definitely what you see or what you hear is what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I love about you, man. You just lay it out on the table. You've got you've got a lot of heart, I think. Yeah. And, you know, and it really shows, you know, you feel strongly about shit. And I'm the same way, man. Once you give me my fifis, man, I'm like, the gloves are off, nigger. You know,
Oh yeah, man. No, I'm the same way.
Beep. I should have beat myself there, but sorry. Occasionally I can get in my fifis, like I said. Well, on that note, people, subscribe to Beardog. She's on Twitter at Duramax.
4 X's.
That's right. Because 3 X's weren't enough, goddammit.
That's right.
I'm just saying. And on that note, people, we'll see. Oh yeah, Thursday on Hot Takes, Big Fat Brian and I will be looking at a movie called Logan's Run. It was re-released it's been digitally cleaned up and shit, and it's a beautiful old film, but it's dated. So anyway, we got shit to talk about on that. Creem stream next Friday, and of course, a week from today, I will have in the chair across from me the Unknown Archive. So that should be fascinating. The guys got an incredible experience. So, and on that note, Beardog, let's say bye-bye and hang out for a little bit. All right? You ready?
All right, dude.
Bye-bye. You say bye.
Bye, y'all.
Every week on Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, the Creem stream, the weekly world news for YouTube. Sundays, 5 p.m. Eastern, the Ice Cream interviews, fascinating people, fascinating people. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, Hot Takes with the Butter Baron, watching horrible shit so you don't have to. Subscribe to IRATE Prostate now.